afternoon. How you guys doing today? You guys all right? Today, I want to talk about something called AMRAP Mentality. Some of you guys are probably looking at this like, what is this? You know, I started asking myself, how do I balance the different things in my life? And this is something you guys have probably asked yourselves as well, I'm sure, is I wanted to be the most successful, badass competitor out there, for sure. I wanted to win. But I also needed to work hard in my business, otherwise I wouldn't be able to pay my bills. And so I started to ask, how do I balance all these and be successful at both and still keep a girlfriend at the time? So I started to think about something called an AMRAP. An AMRAP, by CrossFit's definition, is as many rounds or reps as possible. And it's generally referred to in workouts. The goal is to basically beat your previous score or to set your best score and ultimately to win. You want to beat everybody in this room. So if we were doing an AMRAP of as many push-ups as we can in 2 minutes, as many rounds, as many reps, I want to beat everybody in this room, right? And my goal is then once I beat all of you, the next time I do it, I want to do even better than I did before. And so it's as many rounds or reps as possible. And so I started to relate that to my life. I said, my mindset and the way I live my life, I want to be the best at all facets. I want to AMRAP what I'm doing. So graduating from college, I chose to open up a gym. I ended up competing in the games in 2009. The 2009 games were very interesting games. I started off in 72nd place, and I ended up finishing in 5th, which was pretty cool. That same year, I ended up marrying my high school sweetheart. And so I started asking myself, how do I balance and be successful at each of these 3 items? How do I be the best family man and keep my wife from, divorcing me? How do I be successful in my business? And then how do I also compete at the highest level? And so I started asking myself, I need to identify my focus. So the first step of the AMRAP mentality is identifying what you want to focus on. And what I said to myself is, I need to identify my strengths and identify my weaknesses, and then properly elevate my strengths, right? So if you guys are good at, for example, if you're good at selling, you need to learn how to elevate your sales skills and then find out what your weaknesses are, either improve on them or delegate it out. And that's something I started to think about in all facets. So I knew that I was a good weightlifter. I was strong. I was good at workouts where they combined weightlifting and like gymnastics type stuff. I was good at that kind of stuff. I was also good at developing a sense of culture and community and getting people rallied around the concept of getting more fit. So I knew what I was good at. The first thing I recognized was I was bad at endurance. I went into the 2009 games not prepared. I earned that confidence by putting a ton of work in at the track. And that same thing is a great correlation to what I'm doing right now with you guys, or perhaps you guys in your life with business. It's like if you go into a meeting, you're not prepared, you don't feel good, you don't feel prepared, you know you messed up. But if you go in there and you feel prepared, you're gonna be a lot more confident, and generally the outcome's gonna be better. Hired a CFO. This guy's really helped me out. He's a lot more corporate than I am. I'm a little bit more low-key, but he's a lot more corporate. He started doing a lot of spreadsheets and Excel and stuff, and it really helped our company. He's allowed me to recognize where we're making money, where we're not. And this is a great example of hiring Matt has allowed me to take my strengths and empower them and my weaknesses and delegate them out. So I want to talk about mental focus. So earlier I showed you the example of me failing on handstand push-ups. I failed doing that. I failed doing other things. That snatch one where I fell on the floor and laid on the floor, it's because I allowed myself to just get overwhelmed. I didn't know how to take the energy and focus it in. So I started asking myself the question again, how do I balance and be successful at everything I'm doing? I've learned my focus. I've learned I need to work hard at it, right? But what's the next step to that? How do I balance all these different things? And so I added in switching gears. And to be the best at competing, I need to embrace paranoia. And I read this quote from Mark Zuckerberg, it was embrace paranoia. I was like, you know what? That makes sense. I look at it like the sport of business, and I want to win. I spend all my time looking at my competitors and just wanting to dominate everything they're doing in the business world. And I want to be the industry leader, and by embracing paranoia, it's helped me to be able to do that. I want to be the best family man I could be. And so by learning how to switch gears, over the last few years, I've recognized how to be present in my family's life. I needed to sit back and be like, you know what? It's not about how long I'm with these people, it's about the quality that I'm with them. It's the same thing with exercise. You can be in the gym for 2 hours, but if you don't do anything, you're not going to get any results. You need to put in the hard work. Same thing with family. I need to recognize, I need to put in the work. I need to be present with them. Now this final piece is where the whole thing kind of blends and molds into. And that's reevaluating. Everyone in here has different priorities. And I need to sit back and be like, boy, something's got to give. Because right now, I'm AMRAPing as hard as I can, but in some areas of my life, I am just not performing at the level that I need to perform at. I am not the husband I want to be. I'm not. I'm not the competitor I want to be. And I'm not even the businessman I want to be because I'm separating myself out so much. So there's only one thing that can go away, which is the competing side. So I switched gears and I went team. But ultimately going team was a great thing for me because what it allowed me to do is be present in the other things in my life. So ultimately, in a nutshell, what I want to get across today is the AMRAP mentality. I'm not just a family man. I'm not just a competitor. These are parts of my life. I'm not just a businessman, but I want to do all of them, and I want to be the best at all of them, and which is summarized best by having the AMRAP mentality and reevaluating at times in your life that you see fit.